So instead of going over like how much it's sold, because I'll tell you right now, Ghost of Yotei hasn't moved many copies over the weekend. We're still sitting right around 1.8 million. It hasn't moved almost any. It did about a 2 to 3% additional sales over the weekend. Okay? That's it. That's what it's got. So, from this, instead of saying, oh, 1.8 million again, I'm doing a projection. I'm going to project that after one entire month of Yotei being released, it's looking like they're going to sell about 2.5 million copies total.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
You know how they tell us, like, you know, don't worry about who we hire. It doesn't matter, you know, the actresses in Yotei or wherever don't represent the product. I mean, this is what they push on us all the time. It's like, oh, it's just someone getting a job, bro. You don't support someone getting a job? You don't support jobs anymore? Well, this is a very interesting, and it gives a little bit of transparency to what's actually going on, and how when you hire someone like Erika Ishii, how they end up in the game. Right? That's the thing. The Ghost of Yotei creators on Atsu, I see it as a chapter is done. They talk to one of the creators of Ghost of Yotei, and well, they like to push back on us, right? Where we say, "Oh, you hired Erika Ishii, like that's a no for me, dog. Like I'm not into it because she's such an activist, such a problem." But people like to push back and be like, oh, it's just a job. Like, it's not like she made the character. It's not like the character is actually her. She's just a voice, blah, blah, blah. Which we know really isn't how it's done. I mean, we know that's not true. Well, here in this alone, check this out. Like, they actually talked to him about this. I like Ghost of Tsushima protagonist Jin Sakai, but I have to say, I like Atsu a lot more. Oh my god, it's just like, please. I like the newest thing you made. I like new thing. Access Media, I like new thing. I like new things so much. Can you explain your intentions with her as a character and how you made her so endearing? And by the way, one of the biggest gripes I hear from almost everyone is just how bad the story is, how bad the writing is. So take that into account. Dude, we're going to go over some numbers here soon too. I've got all sorts of things on this for you guys. So this Ian Ryan guy replies, I think one of the early goals that we wanted was to create an outsider character who players could really relate to, and also just tell a really personal story and focus on that. There's a huge backdrop of these factions, the Metsumai tribe, Metsumai Samurai, and Lord Saito and his clan, and that conflict slowly brewing, but we really wanted to focus first and foremost on Atsu. And this tale of revenge and how she's trying to heal herself and that wounded heart she has as she's trying to cross the names off the list and get revenge. We just ultimately wanted to focus on that. And then a lot of it also came out of working with Erika Ishii, who just did a great job embodying the character and bringing her to life. We worked with her in the recording and in the shooting scenes and doing a lot of writing work, shopping with the character to make sure that we were representing the classic archetypes from American Westerns, but also from spaghetti Westerns, to Mifune from Yojimbo. That wandering warrior archetype who can stroll into a town, who is a mercenary, but also someone who has a deep heart, the compassion, who can recognize who is another victim, or someone who's been through hell and back, and who might want to help them. This is a woke character. You understand? Oh, this person is not bad. They're just a victim. And because we worked with Erika Ishii, we brought that wokeness weirdness into the game where, it's you're not actually bad for robbing the store. It's because you've been systematically oppressed. Tell me that's not how that reads. That's how that reads, right? That's how that reads. This. Anyway, so we're constantly trying to explore that tension and striking that. Okay, great. But wait, there's more. How is Erika Ishii cast and how much influence did they have over the character? Is there room for improvisation when you're performing for a video game character? So Jason Connell replies, Yes, in a lot of ways, like Ian just mentioned, writing, workshopping, and there was workshops with Erika to try to find the character. So they straight up worked with her to make this character. This is exactly why when you see Erika Ishii or these activists being part of a video game, it's the red flag. You know what's coming because if they're part of making the character, well, you're getting that with the character. You're getting that with the game. So for me, when I see her hired, I mean, that just immediately crossed off the list. Do I need to mention things she's worked on, friends? Dragon Age the Veilguard? Is that not enough? Does that not tell you enough right there? Dragon Age the Veilguard is cooked. And now this, which ends with a lesbian romance as they raise a child together. Absolutely insane. Even though it's not openly, it is a lesbian romance. I mean, she literally, my understanding is she forgives the woman who helped kill her family and then goes and lives with her. Hello. We know why. Anyway, he says, I think it's an important part of the journey. You kind of have this idea from the very beginning, before Ian even writes anything, maybe just Nate Fox and I. We have this idea for this type of character that gets a little bit more refined and exciting when Ian goes and writes something. And then we go through the casting process. And we're looking for somebody that could obviously depict the character that you've written, but also maybe has something else interesting that you weren't thinking of, or that shows some of their flaws and they wear it outwardly. I will say one thing about Erika Ishii. She's incredibly flawed, dude. I mean, this person is one of the most awkward people I've ever seen speak or act or walk around. Like, when we watch her with this stupid sword thing, she's trying to do the swords, and she's just like this weird, like, awkward smile and everything she does. Like, she's so uncertain, so, like, insecure. It's insane. And then they had her dress up as Atsu and come out, and it was just so cringe because you could tell she has no idea how to actually be cool while she's trying to act cool. It's absolutely insane. And then you're like, oh man, this is somebody that we think could bring something interesting to this character. That is something we could write around. There's a softness to it. Even though we're making a wandering samurai archetype type of character, like Ian said, but seeing somebody that can show passion or comfort in a scene where maybe you don't specifically write it there, but they showcase that. I mean, it's just straight up like saying, yeah, we let her do her own thing, and she just creates the character, and we just kind of follow along like little puppy dogs. That's kind of how I see this. How you're writing for the character barely, and then you bring in an actor. I mean, you're pretty much writing the character once you bring an actor in. That's what it sounds like to me. They're not writing a character, they're writing an actress. That's how it sounds to me, because he's literally up here saying, oh, nothing really happens till he writes a little something, and then we go into the casting process, and then they start making the character. So it's not a character, it's just the actress. And that was Erika Ishii, which is the problem with the game. So to us, that's sort of the stuff that gets us excited. I will say, once we narrated it on Atsu, I think we're pretty hopeful it would work out because we were all very excited about it. And then you go through a couple other stages of auditions, but once they're cast, I don't think it's like, okay, just go shoot Atsu. There's half a year of just figuring out relationship of Erika to Atsu. Oh my God. 6 months of dealing with this chick, just trying to figure out how she can be the character. Oh, I could not deal with this. And they're going to bring a lot of their own personality, a lot of their own choices. Why? Because they can't choose. See, they're going to bring a lot of their own personality and their own choices into the game, into the character. Whatever happened to acting, where an actor could be multiple people depending on what they were doing in a movie or a game. So now they can't do that anymore. I mean, that's what they're saying. They're saying, oh, they're incapable of this. They can only be themselves, and we're going to create the character around them. I mean, that's really what we've seen so much. I mean, you get these VAs. I mean, where do we see this a lot? Is when you see the translations and the localizations come over from like manga a lot of times, right? Where they'll completely change the narrative because they're making it to what their worldview is, and they're changing the art completely, and they're turning it into their worldview. So what I find interesting about this whole thing is you have this Erika Ishii situation. They've hired her. She's the actress. But they have a Japanese VA also who clearly is only just some voiceover for Japan, even though this is a Japanese game. why did they bring an American in to be the face, because they put her face in the game, and to be the one that they bounce all these ideas off of, and not the Japanese VA be the face of the franchise and be the one that they design the actual Atsu off of? Because I don't know if anyone knows this, but look at this. Here, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you make this the face? What are we doing? Why is it freaking Erika Ishii when this literally exists? You know what I'm saying? And she's a voice actress too. She's well known. Why wouldn't you? Why tell me right now? Why would they not just go, hey, you're Japanese. One, we have a Japanese character. Two, hello, this would look much better in our game, and let's actually build it off of a character who might actually have a better character of their personality. Why are we not doing this? Right? Why are we using Erika Ishii, probably one of the worst? Like, Miss, I'm Antifa, and so's my wife. What are we doing? She exists. And this is who they hired to be the Japanese VA. You have a Japanese character. You're making a game about Japan, about a samurai, back in the day, not even today. And you go get an American to represent it that is absolutely cooked, and you design the entire character around this person who is an activist instead of this Japanese person. And like Jason's saying, the Japanese voice actresses are highly regarded by their people. Yes, highly regarded. Like, this is a beloved person. She has an insane amount of followers, dude. And she looks the part. Oh my God. So that's just a little aside there. Like, every time I talk about this game, I just keep thinking, you have that as your VA in Japan. What are you doing? Okay, so Erika Ishii is the English VA, I guess. Not a good idea, but whatever. Why is she the face? I just don't get it. So it's saying it kind of evolves, and it's this beautiful, creative thing that you're making together. And I think Ian and the writing team, and Nate Fox, obviously, he's stage director on all of our games, did a really good job bringing out such great characters out of it. Not just Erika, but all of them. They brought their best. The biggest gripe in this game is the writing. The story is terrible. Terrible. And this is something pretty much everyone agrees. That's why I'm here and I'm reading this, and this person is just glazing them about it. Why are you glazing them? So then they're saying Nate Fox is a big fan of improv, which means, oh, Erika, you have carte blanche to do whatever the hell you want to do with this character. Just make it you. Make it you. It's not a character anymore. It's you. It's you in a game. And he really likes to bring that kind of electricity into the scenes he directs. And he would always give actors one final take after we got everything in the can and got what we needed. He would give them just one for their own to try some things out. And so often, that was the take we would use. And something really interesting would come out of that. And we would then take, and they would inform the creative process from there. They are saying that their ideas for the characters are constantly overwritten by the actors. What do these people do? Does this not tell you why the story was such shit? Because if you allow all these actors to go and do one more kick at the can, and they get to do their own take, and that's the take we use, then what's happening to your story? Because you start doing that, the story's falling apart now. Your story's not going to make sense, but you just like their take so much. Well, as soon as they figure that out, they're going to give you their best take is their own take. That's going to happen. Do you consider Atsu's story complete? I see it as chapter is done, but she has so much more in front of her. She's just suddenly learning. Oh my God, this is worrisome. A lot of people saying Ghost of Tsushima 2, Ghost of Tsushima 2. Oh no, it's a chapter done, but she has so much more in front of her. She's just suddenly learning to live again without her brother, with her niece. And as a surrogate mother figure, revenge is now fully behind her, but she's not fully healed. Oh my God, dude. She's healed a lot, but she's learned to see a future beyond revenge. What that future is, it's just going to be smooth sailing? I think absolutely not. And that's one of the interesting things about Atsu's story that also makes it really relatable. Oh my God, dude. Are they saying there's another Atsu possibility on the table? Is that, I mean, oh my, they can't do it. I mean, they can't do it. We're going to be going over the actual numbers that I have pulled. As for those of you who don't know, I've been tracking the game's performance, and I have my ways. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I know what I'm doing here. We're going to talk about the Ghost of Yotei numbers. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been tracking Ghost of Yotei since it released, and I will tell you right now that I've proven my numbers work. The way I do things work. In fact, it's easier for me when it's just one console. The only time it becomes really difficult for sales is when it goes to Game Pass. Then I can have a problem, but I can tell you what all the sales are everywhere else. But when it's on Game Pass, it can muddy the waters quite a bit about knowing actually sales. I mean, that's almost freaking impossible when they do that. That fucks me up. That fucks me up. Because there's data out there, but if you know what you're doing, you can pull the data. So the other day, and I want to give a shout out to Dr. Disaster for covering this post, actually, where I was talking about 1.7 to 1.8 million sales, and this was on October 16th. Now, today's October 19th. I was talking about, let's see what happens over the weekend, okay? I want to know what happens over the weekend, because what I saw 3 days ago was it didn't look like it's moving many copies. I noticed this right at the end of opening weekend and into the beginning of the next week, that I could see the huge onload of players right at the beginning, and then I could see it wasn't moving. I mean, it was, it moved, but it was barely creeping along. Like, it wasn't like people went out and played it. They liked it so much that a bunch of people went and jumped on board, and then they started buying the game. That did not happen. It did not happen at all. And a lot of times when you see a game that really catches on, that's exactly what happens. Like, people go buy the game, you'll see a big bump, and then you might see kind of a little lull, but as people and word of mouth is going out, then it starts going. This has not happened for Ghost of Yotei. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. This game sold a decent amount right in the beginning, and then just kind of went, ew, and just kind of it's just creeping along now. So what I had said is the game appeared to move about 1.7 million copies to a possible 1.8 million. The sales stagnation after launch is very real. It absolutely was. And I was also, what I wonder is if they finally hit that 2 million, are we ever going to know? Are they going to tell us? Because they never announced a million, and I know for a fact it went over 1 million, but will they announce 2? Will they announce anything? Because games love talking about their numbers when it's what they really want, right? If it's something that's surprising them, or it's doing kind of what they thought, which is what they projected, or what maybe the hype they've tried to build is supposed to be, we'll hear them. They'll be dancing all over the place over 1 million, over 2 million, 3 million. We saw Shadows do it with players, right? Because people went over and rented it on Ubisoft Plus Premium, or whatever hell that thing's called, because that's how people did it. They didn't want to buy the game, and I saw those numbers for real. Those numbers were real. People weren't buying that game; they were renting it on Ubisoft Plus. But we don't have that situation here. With Yotei, they have to buy the game, and people aren't doing it. I saw it slow down. So now that the weekend is over, I created this graphic. I hope everyone likes this graphic. It's good, right? So instead of going over how much it's sold, because I'll tell you right now, Ghost of Yotei hasn't moved many copies over the weekend. We're still sitting right around 1.8 million. It hasn't moved almost any. It did about a 2 to 3% additional sales over the weekend. Okay? That's it. That's what it's got. So, from this, instead of saying, 1.8 million again, I'm doing a projection. I'm going to project that after one entire month of Yotei being released, it's looking like they're going to sell about 2.5 million copies total for 30 days of release. Now, when we go and we look and see what Tsushima did. So in its first month, Tsushima did 1.9 million digital copies and has sold 2.4 million copies globally in its first 3 days. Okay? 3 days. And a lot of people were trying to say how much, Yotei sold so much. Its pre-orders were so great, so much more than Tsushima. Ladies and gentlemen, Tsushima did 2.4 million in 3 days. Yotei, I did not look at this until now. Oh, I'll look at that. I did not look at this until now. Where the hell did it go? Well, wherever the hell it is. Yeah. I did not look at this till now. So it looks like Yotei could meet that number after 1 whole month of sales. This thing is so much further back. So much further back. It's unbelievable. It's an embarrassment. It's doing so bad, dude. This has to be a disappointment. Yotei's not doing the numbers they needed, what they wanted. I mean, it's not going to be a commercial failure if what they said is true. I'd say it's probably closer to $70 to $80 million that they spent on this game, not the 60. They said similar, and that freaking writer jumped and said, "Oh, it's similar, so it's 60. It's the same." No, similar is not the same. I'm sure they spent more, 70 to 80 million making the game. But on top of that, you also have marketing, and their marketing's probably between 25 and 50 million. Let's just say it's 30 million. So you got the 30 plus 80, we're at 110 million. You can make that with 2.5 million sales. So there, you'll make a little more. So they will be positive. But when we're talking companies wanting to make money on a game, they want to make 50% more than they spent totally to 100% more or more. And they are going to be falling way short of that number. So this will be a commercial failure. Even though it's made money, a commercial win is 50% ROI, making 50% more than everything you spent on it. And they're not hitting it. Nowhere near it in a month. This is going to take sales. It's going to... Now, if they actually take this thing and they put it on PC, maybe in the nearer future than they had planned for, because this is a huge disappointment, then, like, if we see this come to PC in 6 months, that is because the sales were so bad and they needed to do it. But it's going to come to PC, and they're going to need to do that to start making money. Tsushima did it, and it did very well on PC.
He's owning every game.